This has been
Nothing I love more in life than a scalding hot shower. It's the symbol of human dignity that separates us from the chimps. Helps you scrub off the sleep and scrub on the day, or scrub off the day and scrub on the sleep. Don't know if you're morning or night shower people, whatever floats your boat. But where your tower's gonna float their boats if all you have is cold H2O? That's 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, and 0 parts justice.
Now I know you're thinking, what are you talking about? Go away, this is private property.
Well, before we leave, ladies and gents, allow me to set the scene.
Yeah, I don't live here.
Oh.
Imagine your kids taking a shower before they go to school. They douse their skin with ice-cold water, a huge shock to their little systems. At first, it's downright unpleasant, but then it gets them wired in a way they've never felt, and they think to themselves, that shower felt great. Maybe I'll try cocaine. So your son's on coke, your daughter's pregnant, and your husband's probably having an affair. Apocalypse! Just like the movie I Am Legend, but not like that at all. No hot water, which means cold showers. Next thing you know, your kids will be on crack.
No hot water,
which means cold showers.
Which everyone knows is the gateway drug to crack, crack, crack.
I'm fucking I'm dating Delilah from Delilah. And you're like, yeah, baby, do you like that? And she's like, yes, I like that. Yeah, we're here tonight.
And coming up next.
Me! Kat, do you not know Delilah?
Hey there, Delilah.
No, they're different people.
No, Delilah, she's like a radio host.
It's like
and she does like
love radio.
Yeah, people call in and tell like love stories, breakup stories, and then like they play music in between.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that sucks for you, dog.
And then she has like a very calm voice, soothing voice, kind of deep.
I don't know her. I just know the Delilah from Hey There.
From Hey There, Delilah.
Yeah.
The Delilah from Hey There, Delilah left New York in March of 2020 and has not come back.
That could be lyrics to the song.
Exactly, that's the sequel.
Yeah.
Plain White Tees, when they're fucking out of that residual money and they need to write a sequel to Hey There, Delilah. What are song sequels? Are there sequels to famous songs?
Yeah, part 2, of course.
Of course. Rock and Roll Part 2, Gary Glitter.
Yeah, but that's not really a part 2. But
I don't know if this counts, but
there's
the
like
song...
reprises, of course.
Oh, of course, a famous reprise. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend will have many of those over the course of its run.
We saw many in these 2 episodes.
In these very episodes.
Did we already start?
I mean, we are rolling.
Recording?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you didn't tell me.
Started mid-Delilah.
Kevin just sort of starts.
I love in media res.
That's ideal.
I agree. I like it to feel like a casual chat that you just happened to walk in on.
Like at a coffee shop or something.
Exactly. Just people yelling about TV shows, which is, I think, essentially what I do in a coffee shop.
It removes some element of, like, having to perform. But now I know. I'm sad I looked. I wish we just chatted for a full hour. I'm like, when are we starting, guys?
Now the illusion is fucking broken. It's fucking shattered. I don't know if this counts as a sequel song, but the Madonna song Papa Don't Preach, in the music video, Danny Aiello plays her dad, and Danny Aiello recorded a separate song called Papa Just Wants the Best for You, where he is playing the same character from the Papa Don't Preach song.
That's kind of cool. About
how he wants the best for his daughter. Is that a sequel? I guess it's like a sidequel. It's like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. For the song Papa Don't Preach. It's a spin-off. It's the fucking Tortellis of Papa Don't Preach. It's the Frasier of Papa Don't Preach.
There's a King of Carrot Flowers, part 2.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm familiar with the original. Mm-hmm. It's like when you find out there's a sequel to The Last Picture Show, and you're like, what? They made another one of these? With the same cast and director?
It's supposed to be the last.
And simply, yeah, I know, like another Last Picture Show.
Kevin, something's really been bothering me. So when we were recording the podcast the other day, I didn't realize we were recording. We were talking more casually, chit-chatting about song sequels. And I brought up some examples, and it's been really bothering me that I said King of Carrot Flowers Part 2, when the full title of the song is King of Carrot Flowers Part 2 and 3. And it's been bothering me that someone might listen to the podcast, hear me make this comment, and say, she's wrong, that's not the song title. And also, there's even more to this, because there's actually another there's another couple of songs on that album that are part 1 and a part 2. Two-Headed Boy, part 1, part 2. So now I'm afraid someone will listen and think, oh, well, there's another sequel on that, another part 2 on that album that she's not even talking about. So they'll think I'm a fraud, a poser, a fake, a phony. And so I just want to put it out there that this, that I'm aware of a phony. Okay, I jumped the gun. I said that before even fact-checking any of this. I just was going off of my own knowledge. And the full song title is, in fact, King of Carrot Flowers, PTS period 2 and 3. So that's parts, plural parts 2 and 3, not part 2 and 3. Let it be known. Shamefully, Halley.
It makes me so sexy sad.
I'm just having intrusive thoughts about Taylor Swift.
Let's hear it.
It's just
No time like the present.
I'm like trying to think of examples, and it's the only thing my brain will think about is like Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift puts out new things. The Masters. Taylor Swift did a different.
Red again.
Are you a
Red, the
Swiftie?
director's cut.
I'm not. I just think that she gets in your brain. She gets in those Swiss cheese holes and she like worms her way.
There are definitely, I would not call myself a Swiftie, but there are lyrics and elements of her songs that have become brainworms to
We're
me.
talking about, I forget that like we have to be careful when we talk about Taylor Swift. It always seems to happen where I'm like, oh no, we're talking about Taylor Swift again. What if the Swifties hear us and like cancel us?
So far we have dodged the Swiftie radar, but one of these days our bill will come due.
I would love to be canceled, and that feels like a really good reason.
I would love to just get it out of the way.
I think I
I'm
would handle
canceled.
it with
Great.
such grace.
I could see that. I don't know you, but I could see that.
Thank you.
You can see it working out really well.
I'm
for
glad
you.
that's an impression I give so immediately to someone I just met.
Would you post
She would
through
get
it?
canceled,
Yeah.
and she would handle
She
it
would
well.
do great.
Yeah, I think I would be like, you know what? She's just a human.
We all err. To err is human.
I think I would quickly forgive and forget.
Yeah. There is definitely a Taylor Swift-ism. She has some terrible song about Cornelia Street. And a street in Brooklyn that I pass by all the time. And just every time I just think, I'll never walk Cornelia Street again.
Isn't it
Are those
intrusive?
the lyrics?
Yeah. And it runs through, and that's it. I couldn't tell you anything else about the song, but just that lyric. And she also has a truly terrible song called London Boy, featuring Idris Elba in a vocal only, like in a dialogue cameo. He does not contribute to the song in any other way. And it is...
What are his lines?
He's at the opening of the song, and it's just like him talking. He's like, hey, bruv, you gotta go governor's apples and pears. He's just like talking about some shit. And then Taylor Swift fucking comes in with just like literally a Lonely Island song, but she's doing it like completely straight face. She's like, I'll go down Piccadilly Circus. She's doing her fucking like cat's fake this accent.
Oh no!
This
is a real song.
I love a London boy. I enjoy.
Is this fake or is this real?
This is fucking.
No, is this like a real?
I can cue it up right now.
Is this a song that she produced, or is this a Lonely Island?
No, this is a Taylor
This is on
Swift
her
song.
album.
It is on her album, the same album as like Paper Rings.
Which album is this?
I don't remember. It came out a couple years ago. It's like a Sunset cover. And
Lover.
she's all doing Lover. My lover. Yeah, exactly that one. And she's like, darling, I fancy you. And it's like, there is a song in Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, the Lonely Island movie, where he's doing that with Spain. And like, it's the same song.
I think I would love to see you cover Taylor
London
Swift.
Boy?
Yeah, London Boy. And
But
also
doing the fucking Dick Van Dyke Mary Poppins accent.
also, I think back to the song sequels. When you first said that, I was like, so American.
I'm playing the London Boy.
No, so American Boy. This is the sequel to American Boy.
Wow. A spin-off of American Girl.
Is that a song?
You depress me sometimes.
Is it?
Tom Petty's American Girl?
Oh. now I'm having intrusive thoughts about the American Girl memes that are becoming really
Oh, the little
popular
doll?
right
I don't think Tom Petty was thinking about one of the little dolls.
Did you ever
not.
have one, American Girl?
now. So that's complicated. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's get into it.
Let's fucking dive deep on
I want
American
to. I want
Girl.
to hear if you did.
Wow,
and
tell me
what-
more.
I
about
never
your
did.
American Girl.
Okay.
I never did. I would have liked one. If I'm being honest with myself, I never said it out loud, but not that I'm being asked as an adult.
Why
Good thing there's no evidence of you saying that.
Why don't you think the
Cut that out. Edit that out.
Why don't you think the people who raised you didn't give you one?
Well, I would say it's. I mean, they're expensive. I would say number one, and then
For sure.
number two, I never asked. I don't think they would think I would want one. Maybe.
Powerful.
I don't know, but I did get, and I was a little bit past the point of like even playing with dolls. I did get as a gift the coconut dog, which was an American Girl like company created thing, but it wasn't a doll. It was a little dog, and it came with this like shampoo that was coconut scented,
Wow.
and that scent really left an impression on me.
Yeah.
And to this day, I really love like a synthetic coconut smell. I'm really into perfume and fragrance, and whenever I get like a gross coconut, I'm like, I love it because it makes me think of the coconut dog.
That's
Amazing.
beautiful.
I love that. I hope our listeners are getting the experience of living next to a street in Queens right now. I hope they're hearing these fat beats dropping on the train.
I like when pods or things have atmospheric noises.
It
makes
just
me
feels
feel
like you're hanging out. You're just
Yeah.
there with them,
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have American Girl dolls?
No, I didn't. I was very gender normative. I grew up in a house of all boys. It was like the only woman in the house was my mom and a couple of the dogs that we had over a period of time.
Women dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of lady dogs of Lady and the Tramp fame. And so we didn't have anything like that. And it would have been like embarrassing to have asked for something like that. And I'm earnestly jealous of like my male friends, many of them who did not even have sisters, who just like were not ashamed as a young man to watch things that were aimed at young women and to experience and enjoy things that were aimed at young women. I very much, as a young male child, like stayed away from that very, small town Missouri, no homo culture. You know what I mean? I did not engage with anything like that.
It's interesting too, because dominant culture is so masculine, and like
Yeah.
the canon of a lot of art forms is predominantly masculine and male. It's like, I think for young women, when they get interested in things like even like film, it's like you kind of have to learn a certain like you have to watch The Godfather and shit,
Yeah.
But there's not, I think like women have like a very like multi-gendered experience in that way in terms of like the content they consume, versus men aren't encouraged to like, oh, you haven't seen, like all these rom-coms or musicals.
And they're like,
or,
no, of course I haven't. And they
Yeah.
don't feel any shame about like being
It doesn't
left
go
out of
both
that
ways,
culture.
yeah,
Exactly.
because it's not the dominant culture.
I remember an experience in my life driving away from the park with like my mom and one of her friends and the brothers in the back of the car. And I want to say, Man, I Feel Like a Woman was on the radio, the famous Shania Twain song. And like people were singing along to it in the car. And I, as a young boy, was like, well, why will ladies sing along to songs with male artists, but men don't really sing along to songs with female artists?
Yeah.
And then I stewed on that for about 20 more years until we really hit something there. Yeah. But anyway, those are... what were we talking about? American Girl?
American Girl dolls.
I
Talking about Taylor Swift.
had no exposure to American Girl dolls, unfortunately. But yeah, I could be the London boy in the sequel song. I met this lady, she came to town, she was wearing a football gown. She didn't know where she was going, and I told her, best get rowing down the Thames.
So this is one of the Kevin songs that I was
Okay.
referring to earlier.
And I broke the cardinal rule of trying to improvise a song, which is like, just do a very simple chorus before you do anything else. And I always try to like storm
verse,
into an
yeah.
improvised song with like a complex rhyming verse.
Yeah.
Whereas like anyone who makes up songs on the fly will tell you, just start with like a chorus that is not just like an AABA rhyme scheme, but is like A is the exact same line over and over again. But my hubris has once again rendered a song very short as I ran out of gas immediately.
It's kind of fun though.
On London Boy?
Yeah, it's
I flame out quick.
Yeah.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
You'll be my American boy. It gets like really stuck in your head when that song gets stuck.
What song is this? American
Boy. Because the voice of
I do not know this song.
You know this
Garnet.
song.
the
American
voice-
Boy?
Yes. Take me on a trip I'd like to go someday.
Oh!
Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA. I really want to.
You don't know this song.
configure with you. You'll be my American boy. American boy. Yeah.
Boy.
That's the voice I'm exploring.
We're trying to get a low register
We're
going.
figuring out what my new range is, and it goes southern real quick, because I don't know.
Roll black water, keep on rolling.
Kevin and I did a thing, a few months ago, where we, like, thought of musical theater songs and put it to, because, like, I guess...
And did them up in a country style.
Did them in country accents, because, like, musical theater songs and country songs are actually kind
the
of
same.
similar.
They're structured the
There's
same.
Oklahoma.
Of course. But we were doing it with everything. We were doing it with Waitress. We were doing it with, like, In the Heights. We were doing it with fucking everything. And it works, like, shockingly well for basically every musical theater song you've ever heard.
Were you guys theater kids?
Yeah.
Would you self-identify?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'll come clean.
I mean, we're watching this show. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like
for
it's
sure.
hard
The
not
Crazy
to.
Ex-Girlfriend has the most theater kid energy
Yeah.
of any show, and I include Smash, I include Glee. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend there's something about the way, specifically often, that Rachel Bloom will deliver dialogue or deliver jokes, and I'm like, this rings so true of people I knew in high school delivering dialogue, and I do not mean that as a slight. There's just a particular, like, timbre and sense of delivery to it. There's a way that she tosses off a joke that is so theatery, if not theater kid-y.
Very
And she
theater
is a
kid-y.
self-professed theater kid. Like,
Yeah.
she went to school for it, you know? And normally, a theater kid / derogatory is usually how it is used. But there's just a particular way that it's done. You know what I mean? And I think often when the show is trying to cover its budgetary shortcomings and often has to rely on pizzazz and charisma to, like, in the same way that a lot of high school theater productions do, you know what I mean? You're trying to paper over the holes in the set with, like, a big smile and trying to, like, draw attention to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like... Or do you not self-identify as a theater person?
Well, I'm simply just a star. I'm just kidding.
I'm the star of life.
Yeah. Well, I would not call myself that, but some
Because you like to be nice to yourself.
some who knew me in high school might. But I don't think I ever truly was.
Were you in the theater department?
Was I in every show? Absolutely.
Okay.
But that,
But I'm not a theater kid.
that's called being a star. That's called having talent. I'm just kidding. No, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like when you say theater kid, it's very, like, what you're talking about. Like, it's a specific, like, social scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're saying, oh, the way she delivers the jokes, like, people you knew in high school. Like, I feel like when you say theater kid, people have an image of, like, they're wearing, like, high rainbow socks. And, like, do you know what I mean?
So why did you ask
know what I
us...
mean?
I do know.
So why did you ask us if we were theater kids? Are we giving that energy?
Oh,
is what you're-
absolutely not. I genuinely, like, did not, well, I don't know you, so we just met. So for you, I can't say I had no expectations, but for Kevin, I've known for a little while, and I had no idea, like,
Wow.
you had a theater background.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I
obviously a
associate
very
you with
unimpressive
film.
one. Yes,
But, like, I didn't know you were a theater kid, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Deeply. Because in like rural Missouri, like there isn't like
There's
film
no film
stuff.
element,
There isn't. The
yeah.
only like artistic expression could be like waiting for Guffman style community theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So high school theater, like, I was originally someone who wanted to be an actor before I decided, I'm like, perhaps I'm better utilized behind the camera primarily. But it was truly like the only thing. You know, there was no infrastructure for making films. My public Missouri high school certainly did not have that. Though we were fortunate in one regard where there were the quote-unquote school announcements, which were these
I was gonna ask.
5-minute...
Yeah, if you had one of those.
Yeah, it was you took a class, and it was 5 teams of 3, and every group had one day of the week that they had to create hashtag content for. And there was 1 minute of announcements that had to be at the end of every video, like news that the school needed to know, and 4 minutes of, you were supposed to keep it relevant to school interests, but often you just went and did big sketches. My friend Matt, who I was once on a team with, recently unearthed like the full DVD collection of all of these.
I have to see
And
it.
I have been tagged in some reels on Instagram.
I have to see them. I have to see them.
They are. I've watched some of them now that they've been unearthed for the first time. We were doing these 2010, and it is now 2020. So it was a very long time ago. I'm deeply embarrassed by everything about myself.
But like mid YouTube, that's like perfect time.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a
So
great era.
I recently rewatched like a full-on Jurassic Park riff that we did, like a 4-minute takeoff on Jurassic Park.
Them. And
We have
it's
to
so
see it.
great for our listeners because they're right here in the notes. You can just click on the link below, and they're right there for
I've
you.
been suckered into putting link in bio.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Fair enough. Fine. I will link to the least embarrassing one that I can find.
And enjoy. I hope you all
Yeah,
enjoy.
just really savor it. Because there's honestly, I feel pretty accomplished about a few of those. There was a group I was on with my buddy Forrest, who I still am a film collaborator with.
I didn't realize
And
Forrest
my buddy,
went to high school
yeah,
with you.
exactly. Forrest and I go way, way back. We've known each other most of our lives. And my friend Ben, and we were a very strong team of 3, perhaps the strongest of the entire group. If I do say so myself about
Flex.
myself 12 years ago. But we produced a really great dodgeball skit that was like a full like World War II thing.
Oh my
It was
God.
good. We made some primo fucking school announcements.
I'm so into that. That was my like vision, is if you hadn't done theater, it would have been like one of those like AV club like live like
I did both, fucker.
yeah, that's like the American
That was really
experience.
cool.
But that subverts some expectations of the theater kid, I think.
I lived in both worlds.
But yeah, you lived in both. I feel like I felt I lived in multiple worlds, which is why I never, like,
Yeah.
the people who were true theater kids, I feel like that was, like, that
was it.
That was their heart and soul. That
For
was their
sure.
life, you know? Like, I don't think I got to that
For sure.
level.
What were your
Part of the
other
problem-
things?
I mean, mostly visual art, yeah. I
Fuck
would
yeah.
say that's more what I would more self-identify as at that time.
Yes.
But, yeah, I don't know. I also don't have a great singing voice. Like, I'm fine, and I, like, worked really hard at it
Yeah.
to, like, be in shows, but I'm not naturally a great singer. So I think that always kept me a bit back from, you know,
Hold you back from being a true Broadway baby.
absolutely. Like, I think if I had a naturally, like, great voice,
Yeah.
then maybe I would have got sucked in a bit more. But I've always loved musicals. I, like, grew up watching musicals, you know, so.
They're fucking great. Been on a little musical kick myself. Miss it. I love it.
It's true, you're going like deep into like
Yeah, I
old
did
stuff.
Chorus Line recently, like the Michael Douglas starring a Chorus Line adaptation.
Love it.
Dun-a-da-dun-a-da-dun-a-da.
Have you ever seen the documentary Every Little Step?
Oh my god,
No.
is that the mockumentary with John Mulaney?
No, but now I'm
No,
curious what
that is Co-op from Documentary Now. I assume that's what you're talking about.
Which is a riff
off of original cast album Company, a
Got it.
50-minute documentary that was supposed to be, there were supposed to be many of those. It was supposed to be a pilot for a television show about recording Broadway cast albums, but there was only the one. It's really great. I think it's on Criterion and HBO Max if anybody like wants to go watch it. Usually when they are doing a screening of original cast album Company, now they just also screen that episode of Documentary Now.
That's
with it.
amazing.
Because it's really great. Have you seen it? Co-op?
No.
Oh, you got it.
I didn't know
I am not
that.
a big Documentary Now guy. You do have to watch that one.
Okay.
This is the one that you have to see, in my
Okay.
opinion. And it's really great. What were we talking about immediately? Every Little Step.
Oh, Every Little Step. It's a documentary about the Chorus Line revival that they did on Broadway, and it's just about like people auditioning and rehearsing. And when I saw it, this was when I was definitely in my like high school theater moment, and I like sobbed watching that movie. I was just so moved by like the dedication
of these
It's beautiful.
performers.
It's really beautiful.
Getting cattle called in to do a show about a cattle call audition. Like, it's just,
exactly.
I cannot help thinking about that element when I am experiencing a chorus line.
Well, then you have to watch Every Little
I
Step.
gotta watch Every Little
because
Step,
that's exactly
apparently. Documentary from 1975. Oh, the fashions in this are going to be simply spectacular, and I cannot wait for that. So yeah, I will mark that down for fucking later. But yeah, and I also I recently watched the very difficult to find Peter Bogdanovich musical At Long Last Love, which is all repurposed Cole Porter songs. And of course starring famous singers Sybil Shepherd and Burt Reynolds, who are known for their beautiful singing voices. But it was that movie has a...
Are they actually singing?
They are actually singing. That is actually them. Madeline Kahn is also in it, and we know that Madeline Kahn can sing. Everyone knows this. But they are the two leads, and I think they do fine. I think they do great. They're trying their best. They have fun dancing. They're both very pretty to look at. And I think they do fine. It's a good movie. It has a very bad reputation. Maybe I'm just the sucker. Anyway, and this is, of course, Crazy Ex-Pod Friends, a show where we watch and talk about every single episode of the greatest musical comedy television show of all time, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. The show is called Crazy Ex-Pod Friends, not because we are ex-friends, but because we used to have a podcast. We still do, but we used to too. I am one of your hosts, TV's Kevin Lanigan. And I'm just a poopy little slut who ruins things and wants the world to burn.
Beautiful callback. I am your co-person, Kat Scott. Use they, them pronouns. Here I am again.
Once again, torn into pieces.
Yeah.
And with us today, our first in-person version of this show. We have not recorded in the same room, I don't think.
No.
Yeah. First, so if the sound is bad, shut up. And joining us is our first in-person guest. Welcome to the show, Halley.
Good to be here.
Welcome to me. I did not ask you if you wanted any credits to introduce you. Didn't know if you wanted last name on mic. Didn't ask shit.
Let's just keep it simple and just go with Halley.
Halley.
I love that. At the end, we do like little plugs and stuff, so you can always just.
You can always
throw
dox
in.
yourself at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Here's my address.
Here's my home Addy. Here's my 4-digit pin.
Yeah, why not?
Here are the numbers on the bottom of my check.
Or just identifiers like what your sign is, like
For sure,
what,
for
like
sure.
those things.
Let's hear them. Let's go around the circle.
Oh, we're doing them now.
Yeah, we'll do our signs right now.
Well, I am Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising, Cancer Moon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Halley.
I am a Capricorn Sun and a Sagittarius Moon and Rising.
Hey!
Wow.
Which I think makes me the perfect person.
You can't get better than that.
You can't.
I am a Sagittarius. I don't know any more information than
There's
that.
a
Wow,
lot
a
of
Sag.
Sag. Yeah, a lot of
A
Sag.
lot of Sag, big fire sign.
We kind of find each other, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. We're
Yeah.
drawn to each other.
Yeah.
Every time everyone, I don't know anything about horoscopes, and every time everyone throws out, like, blanks are like blank, Sagittarius is, like, never mentioned. Am I wrong? I feel like I see all kinds of shit about Leos and Pisces, and
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone mention the Sagittarius.
We just get like two things, which is like, damn, you love to travel, and like, damn, you're really honest.
Damn, I have never been anywhere, and I love to lie. Those are the two things about me. Those are my two favorite things: never leaving the country and telling falsehoods about myself.
So maybe you leave the country all the time. What
I'll
should
never tell.
what should we believe?
I am a duplicitous man. You can never fucking pin me down. All men do is eat hot chip and lie. That meme did not. That's not a tweet everyone knows.
I was
Okay.
just pissed that you took it away from bisexual women.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All girls do be bisexual, charge they phone, eat hot chip, and lie.
Yeah, that's the
Order
original-
McDonald's is in there as well.
That's
It's
the
a very
original-
complex tweet.
Yeah, that's the source document. So I was mad that you took
I'm
it
sorry,
and
you're right.
assigned it to men when it was just like something simple that bisexual women could have. Just,
I
like,
am
one
for
nice
bisexual
thing.
erasure. We need to get rid of people like me.
And
I don't exist.
And we'll get to that in the second episode. But right now
That's
we're talking about the
true.
first episode.
They're fucking like tantalizing. They're like tickling us about the Getting By song. They just keep not
Oh, yeah,
doing
that's a
it.
great one.
That's next episode, I think. They just keep not doing it.
Speaking of bisexual erasure,
That's 2 episodes.
I'm ready to get canceled. I'm just
Here we
kidding.
fucking go. My boyfriend doesn't exist.
Well, it is about
my fucking bisexual. I'm about to erase the bisexuals. You know what I mean?
So, for those listening, my boyfriend Yari has poison ivy right now. He's a poison ivy rash, and we're about to travel, and like the U.S. declared like monkeypox like a national emergency, and I think the World Health Organization did too. Like it's a whole thing, and so he has this like visible rash that I'm hoping subsides before the trip. But I'm like, Yari, if someone comes up to you in the airport and asks about your sexual identity, you're
a straight man.
You're a straight man. I'm like, I don't care. They do not want the details. They do not need to know.
Erase yourself for the greater good.
Erase it. I'm like, I
Put
don't.
yourself back in the closet, babe.
This is one situation where we must erase you. And he was like, I understand. Because he's also so nice. Like, I could imagine them being like, hello, sir, do you have any visible rashes? And he'll be like, well, actually, I do. And are you gay or bisexual? Well, actually, I am. Like,
Going to his fucking birthday party the other day and just watching him like glad hand all the way around the party. He had nothing but nice things to say about like
That's what I
everyone
mean.
there.
I'm like,
he
I'm-
will stop for 2 straight minutes and be like, this guy, you don't understand what's so great about this guy.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't want Yari getting like detained. Like, I can't deal with that. So
Your boyfriend's a flight risk because he just talks so much to TSA.
he's still.
They're like, what is he trying to hide? What is he covering for by drawing all this attention to
He
himself?
can't be this nice, you know. This nefarious in some way.
Yeah, you're a friend of the show. We're friends with all domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So I don't know. Let's Halley, before we dive into these episodes, why don't you tell us about your history with this little show called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
Wow. Okay. So
Loaded question, I know.
So I think when this show first came out, I had no idea what it was. It was very unappealing to me in the fact that it was a network sitcom, already not something I typically would watch or think I would enjoy. And I feel like it was really coming off of the like, I might have the dates all wrong, so if I do,
I got him right here.
I don't care. You're like, I'm ready to pull up. I'm like, all right, I don't want to
Sounds
know. Like,
Don't tell me.
don't tell me.
I don't want to know facts.
Yeah, I'd rather have my version. So
Taylor's version.
I feel like it was really coming off of like Parks and Rec, Leslie Knope era,
For sure.
which, you know, not my thing.
Has its place.
I mean, but yeah, to each their own, but like, it was not, I feel like I associate with this very like, you know, liberal choice feminism, not my scene. And I kind of just assumed this show would be that because it was that time, and it's if you just see the ads, it's like, this is a musical rom-com. Like, how could it be anything but, you know, that? So I was not super interested, and then I was actually trying to think of how I got into it. I believe it was my film professor in college who like just offhandedly like mentioned it, and she's like, it's a genius show. It's so well done. It's like shockingly subversive and feminist. So I was like, I had no idea. And this is someone whose, you know, opinion I definitely really value, or valued, value, I guess, still to this day. And so I believe that's what made me check it out. And I was shocked by what I saw. Like, I was really stunned. It shouldn't have been as good as it is. Like, I was just like, this is incredible. And so, yeah, so I watched, this is, I guess, back in college, watched the whole thing, and I honestly haven't rewatched since then, so this was a good opportunity to, like, revisit these episodes.
Absolutely. They're revisiting these shows. That's why I do these podcasts. That's why I did a whole show about Community. I just wanted an excuse to watch one of my favorite shows all over again.
Yeah.
And I've already watched this show this year when I had the novel coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I got to sit there and experience all of this. I believe this was early day 2 of my COVID experience, just like doing nothing but watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And this first episode we're going to talk about, I have a very distinct memory of watching this with you, Kat, the first time that I experienced it. Because this is after their winter break when like I'm caught up and now I'm proselytizing about the show. And I remember watching the Textmergency episode like on the couch of your parents' apartment in Clayton, and like just being curled up in a tense little ball on the couch. It was so stressful to me watching all of this unfold the first time.
Yeah, these 2 episodes, that makes sense because I don't remember what was going on when I was watching it, but these 2 episodes are the ones that I most closely remember. So far, like up to this point, I've been like, yeah, it's familiar, but these 2, there were like lines in it and like lyrics, but also just like pieces of it that were like way more like, I remember this like pretty vividly as if I had watched it in the last few years.
Absolutely. These really stuck out. And like we had been, the last few batches of episodes, in my opinion, were not the show's strongest point, like plot-wise or musically. And then these 2 are where like the back half of the season is like really starting to rock it out. And we are like actually advancing things in like the Rebecca Josh dynamic and Valencia's plot, because Valencia's really been sitting on the fucking sidelines for like most of this season, you know? And we're like starting to actually like push these things forward. Greg is now, he has his axes to grind. We're seeing some nice like forward momentum, like I like out of a television show. And anyway, this first episode is season 1, episode 11. That Text Was Not Meant for Josh, directed by Daisy von Scherler-Meyer, written by Elizabeth Kiernan Averick. In this episode, Rebecca sends just the worst text message I've ever seen that was meant for Paula to Josh, and then concocts a sort of cockamamie scheme to get the text off of Josh's phone. And then that, of course, spins out into a hilarious set of circumstances that just get, as the tension gets ratcheted up. And at the same time, Paula and her husband are actually trying to repair their marriage. And that is the big revelation of the episode to me. I am not a huge fan of, like, these very stock television and film characters who are like, I'm married, but I sure hate my life. I sure hate the person I'm married to. And now Paula and Scott are, like, actually, like, they can be characters in a dynamic with each other. And I appreciate that. It's nicer for me to watch. Anyway, thoughts on this episode?
I didn't realize this was going to be the episode where you see Paula and her husband work through their marriage, and that was like one of my favorite parts of the entire first season, so I was so excited that was in this. Yeah, I mean, I just love Paula. I think she's hilarious and just an incredible performer. But yeah, I don't know.
Love the Apollo 13 shtick. I love any Apollo 13 shtick.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Big fan.
Yeah, I agree. It was I thought the getting really hot for like the heist was like a really smart choice, and it was like also definitely a highlight of the season for me. I thought that was really well done. And because the oh shit, a text that shouldn't have, and now I have to find a way to break into it, like those plots always get messy for me and I can't track them. Maybe it's like ADHD, but I'm just like, I can't follow it. So I feel like having this like romantic part was a very exciting way to keep me into the story, because the rest was really stressful.
Yeah. I also, to me, romance is doing a little caper and then eating burritos
100%.
On the counter before you fuck. That to me is romance.
Yeah, I love it. I thought all of it was really well done. And I think they pulled off something that could have been not funny and made it kind of funny to me, which is doing the crazy ex-girlfriend as a monologue, because that is something that theater teachers are always trying to get you to do. They're always trying to get you to like
say song lyrics.
Lyrics, and I was like, wow, this is the first time I haven't like been entirely cringing the whole time.
You know I love a London boy. I enjoy. Darling, I fancy you. Yeah, no, you're right. That's some absolute theater teacher shit. My first day of drama class ever, they had us sing Hey There, Delilah. Like, we didn't even act out Hey There, Delilah.
We're back to Delilah now.
Yeah, we're back to fucking Delilah. It happened to be, we sat there and a cappella sang, in drama class, not choir class, drama class, sat there and sang Hey There, Delilah in its entirety.
Wow.
I've always held a grudge against that song for that very reason. It's not the song's fault. I can't blame the Plain White Tees, but I choose to. That's good. So I guess in this episode, there's something very important that we have to ask, that we have to like fully lay out on the table. Is it a text emergency? Is it a textastrophe?
I forgot about that.
Is it a message apocalypse, as suggested by the ghost of Steve Jobs?
I will say,
definitely not.
That's one of my least favorite Crazy Ex-Girlfriend songs.
Really?
I also don't like that kind of that comedic trope too. The one where it's like, it's this, no, it's this, no, it's this. The back and forth. It's kind of annoying.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also just hate the aesthetics of like 80s rock.
So there's nothing about the song that appeals to you.
It's just aesthetically offensive to
What
me.
about famed New York improv comedian Jeff Hiller as the judge? That didn't do anything for you?
He was fine.
Okay.
I have no problem with him. Maybe
Taking it up with. I'm trying to start beef. I'm trying to start shit.
I fucking hate that
I
guy.
fucking hate Jeff Hiller.
It's on site.
His cameo on 30 Rock fucking sucked.
What was the button of this episode? Because was he? I really
he was in the judge's chambers. Like, why did you approve a police escort for this?
That was good.
And he's like, I left my wife for a prostitute. He's funny.
Yeah.
I also hate Steve Jobs.
You hate Steve Jobs.
I hate Steve Jobs.
The appearance in this episode, or
I think it worked because they say "Get out of here, Steve Jobs," which is what I've been trying to get Steve Jobs out of. He ruined. Understand that like a person's legacy is not necessarily their fault, but like he's one of the people that kind of ended up ruining society and making like celebrity CEOs like a thing. Like, we don't fucking get think of all the people in the wake of Steve Jobs who have become like black turtleneck TED talkers as like their mode of CEO and like forming. I know that he did not invent cults of personality, but like making a celebrity CEO something that you could be is like one of the most nefarious things that has happened to American culture in a long, long time. And it's gross, and it's his fault.
I do see that. I feel like if you shaved Bill Gates' head, Elon Musk's head, put Jeffrey Bezos, and put all of them in a black turtleneck next to Steve Jobs, I think I would have a hard time in a lineup picking which one was Steve Jobs.
Because they are all a direct lineage of this fucker who decided he was like the center of attention. The iPod was fine, I guess, but like it's not like he was coding the iPod. He just had the idea and was like, now go make this. Someone else go make this, please.
Did you see this? Was it a Sorkin movie?
There were two that came out very close to each other. There was the movie where it was played by Ashton Kutcher, also featuring Josh Gad, and then there was the Sorkin script that Danny Boyle directed, where it was Michael Fassbender and Seth Rogen.
That's the one I saw.
Were our leads. I have not seen either because I hate Steve Jobs. I don't want to learn more about him. I don't want to feel sympathy for him. I'm fine living my life that way.
How did you feel about Steve Jobs in this episode?
Or in life. Or in death.
I mean, that whole song, it just really doesn't tickle my fancy. I don't know why I said that, but and now I'm like nervous about performing like on the podcast.
I'm sorry, don't
You're
be.
doing great.
Yeah, but so that moment was just part of the song that I don't like. But I mean, you know, I love I like that it's ridiculous, like all of the show, I guess, like to have like a ridiculous cameo like that, but it's not doesn't do it for me.
I like the comedic trope of omniscient singing narrators commenting on the exact events that are unfolding. I like when they're like, check under the mat, you know, or like, check the Buddha sconce, check the Buddha sconce. That's funny to me.
That's good.
That was hidden. And let me tell you, on day 2 of near-death COVID, that was fucking getting me. This song made more sense than anything I had ever seen. I was fucking delirious, and I was like, I remembered hating it the first time. I was like, this song doesn't do anything for me. And now in a post-COVID, I don't know, maybe the near-death experience.
Well, it was mid-COVID. You were mid-COVID experiencing.
I was mid-COVID, and like day 1, day 2 of COVID, I was like, it was not good. I went to...
2 years of foreplay leading up to COVID, too. You had 2 years of societal foreplay.
Yes.
And now you were like 2 days mid-COVID.
And so under that exact set of circumstances, Textmergency was like a song miracle that happened to me.
I need to watch it in like a feverish state.
Yeah, I think it would help a lot. I think it would help a lot.
Maybe do some shrooms and then revisit that.
In that situation, it might scare me.
Microdose. If I was watching TV and hair metal guys were singing about what was happening to me, I think I would like kill myself on the spot. I would not be able to process that.
Whatever the opposite of ego death is, like I become too aware of like myself. Like
instead of seeing myself as small, I now see myself as the biggest thing that has ever existed. This episode's good. It is predicated on Josh being very dumb. Like, Josh Chan...
They went full dumb Josh for this episode.
He has this sort of elastic intelligence that many dumb guy characters on TV do, where sometimes they seem very lucid, and sometimes you're surprised how they, like, tied their shoes in the morning. And he's a very trusting, nice guy who's just going along with this ridiculous lie until the very end, where he's like, Rock, go here. Rock look like other rock. But it's killing. And then we do have to talk about...
Encyclopedia definition of rock. I thought that was funny. That was a funny bit to continue throughout the episode. Of like, if you Googled a rock, it would...
This is the picture of a rock looks
I think
like.
when it was like Paula and husband, I think that's when it was funniest. But
sure.
Yeah.
They're a great comedic pair that we get to keep bouncing off of.
I'm so glad that they're funny together now.
Yes. That they're not just like, oh, I hate my wife.
Yeah.
Like, great character. I love this.
Icky. I also liked the way they handled, like, I almost cheated on you. And it's like, yeah, I almost cheated. I feel like it was like a realistic... I don't know.
They could only reach at that emotional place.
Yeah.
Where, like, we have healed enough emotionally in this one evening that, like, we can talk about this, and the fact that it was happening to both of us is like, wow, yeah, something was really wrong here.
Yeah.
It's a moment of realization. Cool. It's nice.
That's cool. I don't like, the sort of, like, dude, where's my car vibe of, I don't know, even remember that movie, but just like
I really want to know where you're going with this. I hate the dude, where's my car vibe of, I get a tattoo that says sweet and my friend get a tattoo that says dude. I hate that vibe.
No, I guess I just mean the vibe of like, I need to go to the place to delete the number, and then you need to be here at this time.
Very contrived
and
television.
Where's the this? And how do I get to the... Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's hard to track.
It's a very, like, sitcom-y plot. It's one of the most sitcom-y plots that the show will, like, ever do, is, like, I sent the wrong text to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Which also, an experience from at least my life. Possibly all of our lives.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you I'm actually realize I was gonna ask if anybody has a story of sending the wrong text to the wrong person, but I think I've suppressed all of my worst examples. I've been trying to conjure them up for a few minutes and I can't.
I do have one. I have one that has stuck out for me. Another high school story. We're telling high school stories. There was this young lady in the theater department. We were both in the theater department, both in choir, classic story. And I was just in love with her, and I just wanted to be with her so
What's
badly.
her first and last name?
Melinda Real Woman, and I was just like so into her, and I like texted her all the time. I was annoying. It was not a good look.
Well,
I was
it's high
very
school,
insecure.
but
It's
yeah.
very and like who's
You
gonna
don't
teach
know.
me proper behavior?
Yeah.
And anyway, and I was also at this time like very Christian, very involved in my church.
You were very Christian?
You didn't know that?
I did not know this part about you.
Yeah, for sure. I was very youth group Christian.
Wow, okay.
And she was Mormon.
We need to talk
And
about
so
this.
in Christian circles, that's like fucking Montagues and Capulets, like
Yeah.
which only made it better, right? This romance that never happened, and because she wasn't interested. And there was this one time where I was like, you know what, I need to like respect myself, and I need to be done. And it was after like a conversation that myself and Melinda Real Woman had just had. And this was at the time I had a Moto Razor, of course, using T9,
What
the
color
famous
was it?
T9. It was just gray. I was
Oh, okay.
I was a boy. My phone was gray.
I had a pink one.
What?
I had a pink one.
Today I would get a pink Moto Razor, but
Yeah.
at the time I was a teenage young man. I had a gray Moto Razor. One could generously call it silver. It was gray. And I sent this multi-part text message because at that time, if your text message was long enough,
Right.
they'd cut it in half. I'm just for our young listening audience. You never know what these
Yeah, of course.
children don't know.
Yeah, you would
And
get like a 1 of 2, and then you would get a 2
Yes,
of 2.
exactly.
Yeah.
But at this time, you couldn't send a text over a certain amount of words.
Yeah.
And so I typed up this message in one message, hit send, and a second message and hit send. Now the second message went to the person that it was supposed to go to. My friend who I was like, who had been, on my sidelines this whole time, and I was like, blah, 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 I'm done with this. She's trying to convert me. Like, it was shitty.
Mormonism?
It sucked. Yeah, and she wasn't. Like, that was not part of the exchange. I was being a weird, shitty Christian teenager, and that part went to the right person. But the first part went to Melinda Real Woman, and I just tried to lie. Did that thing I love to do and lie. And it didn't work, obviously. She knew what I was saying and to who, and was in on the whole thing. And sometimes I stay up awake at night thinking about that. Still haunts me a bit to this day.
Well, I hope you relieved some of it by sharing it with all of our
Yeah.
readers.
Was that the end of the friendship, or?
No, because she was very nice, and she kept going through all of it. It's not like we talk, anymore now or anything like that, but she was extraordinarily mature about it, and
Wow.
I wasn't. Yeah, so good on Melinda Real Woman. She's married now. I don't know if she has children, but she's Mormon, so odds are good.
I just remembered one, and it wasn't one that I sent, but it was one I received that was just ha 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 ha. No, I would never date Kat. And luckily it was someone who I was very much not interested in dating either, and was a good friend of mine. And I was like, well, I'm glad we cleared that up. And I was still like a little hurt. It was like, well, I want to at least be invited even though I'm not available that day. Like, it was that like, well, I want to be invited to your party even though I'm not going to go to your party.
I
But
want
wanna
you
be
to
invited.
want to date me, even though
Yeah.
I don't want to date you.
I want you to think I'm hot and dateable, but
And you got
I
those
also,
ha-has. You were texting the freaking Joker.
Yeah, it was a lot of fucking. It was a whole string of ha-has. Because at that point you were like in text. Now we're breaking down for our young listeners the different like culture of texting and how it's evolved. But there was a period of time when LOL and LMFAO was like used too much, and like Rafflecopter, and so people would really have to like distinguish like if they were actually laughing hard and long, and so that would be communicated through like lots and lots of ha-has.
Yes.
So you had to really distinguish.
And a ha-ha was different than a hee-hee.
Hee-hee and ha-ha. Hee-hee was a little more mischievous. Ha-ha was... Hee-hee was like a little like mischievous, or maybe even flirty. Like,
Yeah.
I like you, hee-hee.
What if the message had said, hee hee hee? I would never take
would have reported them to the authorities.
No, because that means that Reese, what's his last name?
Real boy.
Real boy. Okay, real boy.
Do not dox Reese. Do not do this.
He was such a good friend of mine too. I'm glad I can't remember his last name right now.
I have that experience all the time now where I'm like, this is a person I used to see every day for 4 years. What the fuck is their name? I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna say it's Reese, but actually, his name isn't Reese.
But for the sake of what we're doing, it's Reese.
No, I just remembered it's actually not Reese. Which works best for the pod.
Oh Reese.
no. Anyway, he's in the military now, flying planes. So
saying haha.
I don't
to all the people he's exploded.
But if he had said he, that would have meant that he was flirting with the person that he was sending the text to, which is my friend John, who was trying to. John, I can openly use your name. John was trying to. I think John was like, can I go for Kat, or like, do you like Kat? And the response was ha 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 ha. I would never date Kat. That was John trying to suss it out. We like connected the dots later. Now John is a straight man still, and I am no longer a straight cisgender woman. So he is no longer he's not hurt by.
It would not work out.
Yeah, it wouldn't work out. But I think about it, and John, you know, if you ever went queer, I'm
John,
waiting.
friend of the pod. Come on the show. Tell your side of the story.
Yeah.
Reveal the full text exchange.
Please.
This
Fucking
is-
Alex Jones released the documents. Send you the fucking text to the wrong lawyer.
There's a small part of me, though, that wants this pod to be like a Sleepless in Seattle for John and be like, hey, John, if you are queer, like, I'm waiting for you over here in
I
Brooklyn.
just rewatched that movie, and I think he calls Delilah in that movie.
What is going on with Delilah? What is the energy here?
I think he or it is a Delilah-esque figure.
Referencing
Yeah,
that.
it is Delilah and everything but the name. I can't remember what radio show the young boy calls in Sleepless in Seattle. Really good movie, just in case anybody needs one.
Nora Ephron, right?
Nora Ephron directed.
Because you were revisiting Nora Ephron because you were writing a
A rom-com script that I finished on Saturday.
Congratulations.
First draft,
Nice.
and we're going to do another draft this month, and then we'll send it off for notes while I am in Salt Lake City filming something. And
With the Mormons?
Yeah, with the Mormons.
Mormon. Yeah, with the Mormon. I don't know if there will be any Mormons involved, actually.
There are a lot of callbacks in this pod.
We're doing great. This
Yeah.
is a good, this is a good podcast. Well, Halley, before we move on, do you want to share any embarrassing texting stories?
I don't have any like really fun, juicy ones.
Okay.
I mean, I could lie if that would help.
Kevin
This podcast
loves
is
to
about
lie.
lying.
That would make better.
No, you don't have to. No,
podcast.
It's good.
I did one time. This is such a non-story, but I'll tell it anyway. This was back when Snapchat was a popular form of communication.
Yes, instead of now where it's just a facility to send nudes.
And
I think that's how it started, and I guess maybe it's come back to that.
Oh, it's
Full
gone back to its
circle.
roots.
But I sent once to the person I was talking about. I said the message. It was like just some selfie, but the text on it was like, "I don't know if we're really friends."
Oof.
But I meant to send it about the person
Yeah.
to someone else, but then I sent it to the very person I was speaking
Wow.
about. And the thing is, it was more of like a genuine like question of like, I don't know if we're really friends.
Yeah.
It's not like a, I don't want to be friends. It's just, I don't know if we're really friends. Because we were talking about that person, but then I sent it to them.
Oh, shit.
And they just kind of laughed it off as a joke, which was fine. And I think ultimately we were friends.
Wow.
Good.
Looking back on it,
Yeah.
answering my own question.
Wow.
I think I've
All these years later,
suppressed.
closure.
I think
Yeah.
I've suppressed one memory of sending a screenshot of a text conversation to the person.
Yeah,
I thought of a really
that's
good
the
one.
worst.
Yeah,
Wait.
but I don't know who it was, and I don't remember when, and I'm grateful for that, and I don't need to talk about it in therapy tomorrow with Abby.
I just thought of a
Dear
really
Abby.
good one. But it's this one is actually embarrassing. I did like block it out.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, I would block these out. This one I blocked out, but this one is juicy. I'm not making it up. But I'm also forgetting some details.
Okay.
So maybe some of it
Fucking
will be.
hear it.
So I in my former life as a journalist, I was working on something where I was texting with an FBI agent. This This is a good one.
Wait, that's so cool.
And so she texts me,
Go
like,
after
so I
Trump,
have her
LOL.
contact or something that just says, like, you know, her name and then, like, FBI or something.
Hot.
Like, so I screenshot it and go to send it to my friend with simply the caption, hot, or so hot, or something.
Yeah.
I send it to the FBI agent, just so hot. And a screenshot of her text. And then we proceeded to be, like, on a set, a shoot, like, it was an interview, all day together. And she texts me back just like, ha ha ha, that's so funny, I have a good story to tell you. And then later she tells me a story of, like, sending a text to like a story like this very episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Wow.
Sending a text to someone that it wasn't meant for. So she completely related to the experience and thought it was
great.
very funny. But I did say, that's hot or so hot to an FBI agent.
About themselves.
About themselves.
The feds are our friends. You know?
Yeah, I mean...
They're so relatable.
Yeah, we love the FBI, and we love what they do for us and everything about them. And if we ever talk shit about cops, we're kidding.
We're joking.
Yeah, this was, you know... This FBI agent was a true ally, a true comrade to me. So, yeah. Very
Wonderful. Before we move on from this little episode, we do have to talk about a musical number from this episode.
Yeah.
The one we have not really discussed, which is one of the signature numbers of the entire show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. You ruined everything, you
Such a
stupid
great
bitch.
one.
Such a great number. Really simple, like, I'm always, you know, mounting these music videos, I think, is a subtly, really difficult set of decisions that you have to make, where it's like, okay, where is this set? So, like, okay, text emergency, we don't need to do anything special. They're in the law office. Or a lot of these are just like, they're in the bar. Or something to that effect, right? But, like, the void that they create here for this, like, you know, very Barbara, Liza kind of backdrop, and the dress is great. The chandelier of broken shards of glass, I think, is just a really exquisite touch. The piano player that's, like, distant in the background. It's just, like, a really good recreation of, like, a 70s song special that you would watch, you know, in primetime, like Liza with a Z or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just really well done. Of course, Rachel kills both the vocal performance and the lyrics of the song. But it's remarkably well done. It's become an anthem of, stupid bitches everywhere. We've all felt like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of when we watched... Also, you just reminded me that the episode... Sorry to be, like, anachronistic, but the beginning of the episode, I think, was a really strong open of, like, fucking up and then being like, oh no, you need to deal with it. And
everyone jumping to her side.
That's a great
funny.
bit. Like, that is fantastic, and I think that peak energy
it's a
of
good lesson to all you improvisers out there, is that often the funniest choice you can make is to be really on board with what the other person just did.
Yes, comma, and. Write that down, everyone. But what I was going to say was, this song is one of those songs. Boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, boop, boop. There's music outside if you can't hear it.
They definitely heard it.
Is one of those songs that gets stuck in your head when you're mad at yourself, or like being hard on yourself, or maybe this is just for people who are neurodivergent like me. But when you've like fucked up or something and you're like ruined everything, and the equivalent of those is when we watched All That Jazz, the goodbye song, when he's like, bye bye life, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness, I think I'm gonna die, bye bye my life, goodbye. That, and then the song from Godspell, whenever I'm minorly inconvenienced, gets stuck in my head, of Jesus on the cross saying, oh God, I'm dying. Whenever anything like little, like I stub my toe, I spill a glass, it's just, oh God, I'm dying. And so this song is in the canon of being hard on myself and dramatic.
I also love just the little throwaway line of like, and you can lose some weight, when she like
And
as
who's
We did talk about that
I
like
love that
last
throwaway.
pod, right?
Yeah, her the subject of specifically Rebecca's weight, but one could extrapolate it to Rachel Bloom's weight, comes up a lot on this show. It's a common refrain.
But so like I mean, of course, like when you're being like very self-deprecating, I think especially like as a woman, it immediately comes to like your physical appearance. That's like right to the heart of it.
100%.
It's like so much of our value, our worth is tied to how we look. So I just love how like that's inserted even when
just as a little slight on top of everything else, you could also
on top
stand
of
on your
everything, yeah. Which I joke that I mean that's like a common like self-deprecating thing. I say like I try to joke about it, but it's like if something inconveniences me, I'm like and to top it off, Anyway.
And also this, even this, I get to experience, and I love the little refrain that she tosses off at the beginning of it. It's like, we're here again, aren't we? Like, you guys know this song, and like we've done this 1,000 times before, and we'll do it again. It's just like it's just a signature number. Everyone go look it up on YouTube right now. It's either at the beginning or end of this episode, because I love using copyrighted music. Who's gonna stop me? It's just really well done. I just think they did a great job. And let's talk about the next one.
Actually, do you mind if we pause? Because now that we're all in the same space, you can like hear if I flush the toilet. So we do have to pause when I go use the restroom.
Okay, for sure.
Because I can't mute now because I'm in the same room.
Because
So
you're
if I
in
like
the same
flush
room.
the toilet, even if I like snuck away while you're talking, you
I
would
do
still hear it.
think if you went in my room, closed both doors,
I don't know.
I don't think we'd hear the toilet.
I don't actually have pee anxiety like a lot of my friends do. Like, I don't mind if people can hear me peeing.
Oh, we'll hear the stream, but we won't hear the flush.
I don't really...
I think you're good.
Okay.
Just don't flush.
It's
Simple as that. Just don't flush.
If it's number one.
Yeah. Are we talking? What kind of situation are we talking about here? There's a candle lit in the bathroom right now.
I didn't know
For exactly
about
this contingency.
your secret girlfriend, and I'm not going to tell you about what bowel movement I'm going to make,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, secret girlfriend, I believe, was pre-recording. I do not currently have a secret girlfriend. For all you out there in listener land, DMs are open.
I will say something that came up earlier about it hard to follow like little schemes. I also don't like little schemes in shows.
Yeah.
Like what Kat was saying about like the whole plot to get the phone and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that I can't follow it, but it doesn't thrill
grab
me.
you.
It doesn't excite me. I feel I would rather two people just having a chat. I'd rather just images, a woman looking out a window, tears down her cheek. That's what I'd rather watch.
Experiencing no schemes.
But especially like, I've tried watching The Sopranos twice. Both serious boyfriends I've had. So first serious boyfriend, second. Try watching The Sopranos both times. So it goes. And,
boys be watching The Sopranos.
Boys be watching. Let's generalize about men. They all love The Sopranos.
They all love The Sopranos.
They should have had that line. That'd be good.
In the generalize about men song.
Yeah.
They all love The Sopranos or Goodfellas, yeah.
But, sorry, the Goodfellas thing distracted me because I think the biggest fight Yari and I ever had was about Goodfellas. And the funniest part is,
Yari, you're not Italian!
The kicker is, I hadn't even seen it.
You son of a bitch. You little stinker. You do like schemes.
Yeah, no, well, it was kind of about that, why I hadn't seen it. Anyway, but to get to this...
I hate Italians.
Exactly.
Prejudice against Italians.
The Swifties and the Italians, Italian Swifties.
Oh my god. If Italian Swiftie is the most powerful person you've ever met.
Coming from my head. But
I freaking love a red. It's my favorite album.
The most marginalized person.
There's no more persecuted member of our society than an Italian Swiftie. I like it the pasta ragu. I like it the dear John.
Absolutely.
100%.
But yeah, so The Sopranos, the show is hard for me to get through when they're sitting in the strip club.
A lot of little schemes.
Just talking about their little schemes.
They do have a lot of little schemes.
They're just like a bunch of guys sitting around and we're doing this, and then you get the truck, and then we get the phone, and then this and this. And also, it's also like dated now because we just have the internet, so like all of these schemes wouldn't even matter.
Tony's ever talking about Google.
You just buy all this
You're gonna Google that for me.
on the dark web, not even the dark web, but
The regular web.
regular
That's
web.
Bezos.
So-
Bezos is the real gangster.
But yeah, just little schemes I do like. It does not bring me joy the way other aspects of film and TV
Yeah, you don't like little
do.
schemes?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm too far away from the mic. I don't even know if the phrase I was trying to use was little schemes. As I was.
It is now. You're fucking married to it now.
As I was peeing, I was trying to like think
What?
of a better term,
What
but
did I
it's
mean?
it's like I like ski. Like I like what Paula and her husband were doing.
It's fun.
Like I like that kind of scheming.
That's closer to a woman looking out a window crying, in my opinion. Like there's real emotional depth there.
All right, so that is at one end of the spectrum. What is like the most scheme?
I guess
What
I
is
don't-
like the
I don't-
highest level of a scheme? The Sopranos is the most scheme.
I guess I don't like.
Except for the therapist scene.
I don't like the farce and like the cops are on their way.
Sopranos therapist supercut 1080p. Yeah, the cops.
Like cops showing up. and,
Bringing in
like-
that cop from crack.com.
Or like, oh no, but the cops are coming. Oh no, but you didn't hide the thing, and someone's in the closet. I guess like somebody's in the closet, and you're gonna find out, and someone's under the bed, and da da da. Like that sort
Yeah.
of suspense building isn't really my vibe.
Yeah, for sure. If it's done really well, then I do think that is something that can just be truly remarkable in a noise is off type scenario, right? Where it's like, look at all these different moving pieces, and especially like on the stage where they have to do the pieces in real time, and they're like, dropping axes into each other's hands and shit like that. Like all that is really impressive. But I am annoyed at low level sitcom schemes as well. I'm not pro scheme, okay? I just think a good scheme.
Yeah, it's hard to pull off a good scheme, and like don't do it if you don't know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, listen.
I also think the Paula stuff works so well in this episode because she's kind of like a stand-in for like the audience, like her and her husband are, which
Yeah.
I think is also why the like saying the words of the theme song works so well, because it's like, they're getting so much pleasure out of this like disturbing, horrifying romance, in quotes for those who can't see, I'm doing scare quotes. Yeah, so it's like we're watching it too, this horrifying thing happen and taking so much like pleasure in it, and so it's like seeing Paul and her husband do that. It's like we relate to them, they're doing what we're doing.
Inside of all of us, there are two wolves,
Yeah.
And the wolves are Paula and Scott.
I had we always have 3 last thoughts about things, but my last, I guess, question is, was there anything there was something icky and familiar about Greg's little my girlfriend.
Here I am, sweeping up your glass.
Yeah, my girlfriend's 30 feet the other way, and I'm here. I don't know. It reminded me of some dynamic in my life that I cannot remember, and it just did not sit well. And I didn't know if it was a familiar feeling or if it's.
I did appreciate how he does put it on himself. You know what I mean? He's like, I made a choice, and I'm making the wrong choice, and I need to stop making this choice.
Yeah, just the toxic match,
Yeah.
but keeps coming back together.
An important podcast question that we have not asked you, that all guests must weigh in on. Is Greg hot? Greg.
Original Greg or second Greg?
First Greg, current Greg. Is Greg, not necessarily is Santino Fontana hot. Is Greg hot?
Is Greg hot? Greg is hot when he sings Settle For Me.
Goddamn right he is.
That's the right answer.
When he's singing, he's very hot, right?
Yes.
Sometimes, I tried to turn the light. It was too much light. It was too bright. Changed my mind about the light. Okay, thank you for weighing in. I think Greg is very hot, but I also, again, imprinted on him as a young man like a baby duck or a Twilight werewolf.
Was this in your COVID fever state?
No, this was back in 2015 when the show was
This
was
is in
on.
real time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you like that, we've talked about it on the pod, you like that sort of
love a surly bartender.
Alcoholic, but with a heart of gold.
Yeah, I love an alcoholic with a heart of gold. I love a surly bartender. It doesn't really. I love a Sam Malone from Cheers. I love a Jennifer Connelly from Top Gun Maverick. I love them all. Anyway,
How do you feel about Nick in New Girl?
That was We've talked about
I'm
that.
very into it. I'm very on board. I mean, one, he's very, very funny, which of course helps. But no, he's hot. I'm sorry.
There's one image. I feel like it's
If you don't stop being so mean to me, I swear to God, I'm gonna fall in love with you.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
one
a
of the
funny
funniest
one.
things.
I think it's one of the seasons where they like change the intro, so maybe season 3.
Ugh.
And instead of the normal intro, it's just like these little like pictures of each
Hate
of the
it.
cast.
Yeah.
But there's one of Nick, and he has his like hands under his armpits, and like that picture, every time it would come up, I'd be like, I can't look at it directly.
It's too powerful.
It was too powerful. Like that is a hot picture. I
It's a hot
can't explain why. You have to look at it later.
Okay, I will. We'll
You'll
throw
know
on,
immediately
we'll throw on some
which
fucking
one
New
I'm
Girl.
talking
I'll throw
about.
on the second New Girl. You know what? We have the technology.
Why is he touching his armpits like that?
All right, hold on.
Who is your bisexual awakening, Kevin?
The professional male wrestlers of the WWE.
Right.
New Girl.
It might be like season 3,
New
like
intro.
yeah,
Oh, here we go.
where it's all the pictures.
We got some images.
Okay, yes. Wait, watch. There.
Oh shit!
Do you see?
Fuck! Oh my god! Oh, I've been fucking struck. Jesus.
And it's like it like flashes, and you're like,
Yeah. The last time I had an experience like that with just like one singular image was when I don't even remember the title of this show. HBO had some show with Katherine Hahn. And there's this one
she's
image
so
of
hot.
her in bed, like mussing up her own hair.
Miss Fletcher.
And it was on Miss Fletcher. And it was on so many like buses, and I'd be walking down I'd be doing my second job, like dog walking, and then one of those buses would go by, and I'd just like have a fucking heart attack on the street. It's too powerful. You seen this image?
Katherine Hahn is like peak MILF for me. And I actually watched that whole series in like one watch, and I cannot tell you what it's about because I watched it all at once.
I think
but-
she's a teacher?
Yeah, or like a mom that's like trying to have a second wave of horny. I don't know. It's really great.
Mom with I love.
Wait, is this the image?
The
Yeah.
horniness second wave. Now imagine that just like going by on a taxi cab, and you're not
I've never
expecting
seen this
it. You
image
did not
before.
have any build up. It just like goes straight past you, and you just
I love Katherine Hahn so much.
It's too powerful. She's so great.
I think about her a lot.
That is one of the good things that Parks and Rec did for us was popularize Katherine Hahn.
I don't remember her. Oh, yes, I do.
She's
Yes.
Jennifer something.
Yeah.
She was a powerful lawyer. That was. Anyway, moving on.
You're into power. We've talked about that.
I love a powerful, opinionated, dominant woman. Yeah, I would love nothing
Lawyer.
more than to be the kept man of a fancy female lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were.
I don't have a type, but if I did, that would be my
We're
type.
trying to source them and like listeners in like White Plains or like Hudson, someone who can like
Oh,
take.
yeah.
Can we
Kevin-
get someone up in Peekskill?
Yeah.
You know,
someone who can like take Kevin to a house where he can be a kept man.
where I can make my little projects.
Yeah.
Make 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. That again, if anyone out there can hook me up with that kind of situation, DMs are open. Let's see. So let's move on to the second episode we have to talk about, shall we? Season 1, episode 12. Josh and I work on a case. Directed by Steven Sushida, written by Rachel Bloom and Aline Broche McKenna. The fucking creators and showrunners wrote this one. In order to get back into Josh's good graces, Paula and Rebecca begin working up a scheme to get him involved in a legal case when they accidentally stumble on like a real situation that he's in the middle of, as they begin litigating the lack of hot water in Josh's apartment building. While all this time, Rebecca has made a fake boyfriend named Trent, and then he shows up for real. It's great. It's good. So, highlight of this episode for me simply has to be the Music Man number. I love a Music Man. And cold water, or cold showers. It's a fun little number. You get the whole company involved. You have people chanting the word crack. And it's good.
Yeah, that was a highlight for me too. Was that song?
No hot water, which means cold showers. Next thing you know, your kids will be on crack.
Because I saw the Hugh Jackman Music Man recently.
You saw the Hugh Jackman Music Man?
Yeah, I did. With my
He
dad.
was great, right?
He was actually a delight.
Yeah, he was. Of course he was.
He's really. I went in it being like, ugh, I can't believe I'm seeing such a white Broadway show right now, and there's so much hullabaloo about blah 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 blah. And I went in, and then unfortunately,
he killed.
him and Sutton Foster. I was like, wow, like Marion the Librarian can be funny and charming, and then I was like, and Hugh Jackman is like, it's still unbelievably hot. Like I had him up on my vision board of my vision board being a PowerPoint called When I Figured Out I Wasn't Straight, and one of the images is of him in Boy from Oz in the gold pants when I guess he was on Broadway. I never saw it, but I watched the same YouTube clip over and over when I thought I was straight of him in that. And that was definitely a queer root of mine. So to see him actually on Broadway was like, whoa, a delight. So hot. So,
Sad but true.
So I enjoyed this number for that reason. I've seen shitty Music Mans with not very well.
With non-Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and that number did not slap quite.
You did not have Hugh Jackman's huge actin.
I see what you did there. That could be a song.
Thank you. And I'll make it one, goddammit. Yeah, absolutely.
So does Rachel not write every episode?
She's not. So television writing is always like a persnickety business because one person gets credited for it, even though it is an entire room of people working collaboratively to break stories, revise scripts, but generally one or two people are assigned as the writer. They're the primary writer, and then they end up getting credit for it no matter what happens. But I'm always interested in the multiple television show based podcasts that I've done. Like, what episodes do the creator showrunners, like here you have Aline Brosh McKenna and Rachel Bloom, which ones do they assign their names to that they took a certain amount of ownership over? And I think it's interesting that this is one of them. And I don't know what that means in this context, but it's got to mean something.
Yeah. It made me wonder about the episode before where I had qualms about the little schemes.
No, but this is also a little scheme.
This one's a little scheme, but it's better, and so it's like a disguised little scheme and more fleshed out, and that makes sense that it's because they were writers or head writers.
Yeah, I guess they're anti-scheme writers. they hate a scheme, and they love to write some good character drama. As we get the very slow unfurling of Daryl's sexuality.
So good.
It's very fun. The Mambo class where he's looking at all the different butts, and just realizing that you like to look at different kinds of butts is it's just such a crucial moment in one's sexual awakening.
Absolutely, that was big for me too. Yeah, because I'm more of a butt person, I think, and so I think when I really tried to focus in,
and everybody has one.
Yeah, everyone. Opinions are like assholes, and everybody's got one.
And they all stink. Everybody poops.
That was a good book. Did you ever read that book?
Yeah, that shit was lit. 5 stars on Goodreads for fucking everybody.
Literal lit shit. That
LOL.
poop slapped. Ha 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 ha.
Wow, that's wow. You really liked them. Sending such a forceful text message about that. If it's ha ha, that is someone I think, at least perhaps speaking from experience, that's you trying to hide legitimate feelings behind, what if I said it as a joke? But
JK unlocked.
JK LOL unlocked. Throwing a lol on there to hide my own emotional unavailability. And but the more ha-has you get, the more it seems like someone is actually laughing.
Yeah, an LOL still, after all these years, 15 years maybe of LOLs, after all these years.
All these lols.
All these lols.
All the lols we've shared.
A lowercase LOL still gives me incredible anxiety and fear that
triggered by lol.
I'm bad and not funny. And so
I've always read lol as sarcastic.
Yeah,
really?
And just
always.
There's a lot of cool queer people who text with writing lol at the end of everything they say, as if
Because
it's
they're
like
so cool.
I
if it's
throw
like a
lol
period.
at the end of a lot of text.
Yeah, and those it really makes me question myself.
Those are fucking daggers at
I'll
the end
never
of
text you a lol then.
a lol
Now I
ever
know.
again.
I used to actually ask people when I, like, 7th through 10th grade if I was in like a flirtationship with them. I would ask them, like, please don't text me LOL.
You know what I've asked not to be text?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a good boundary.
It sounds.
I have the same thing. If I'm like, especially a romantic partner, never text me and also don't say to me in person. I think that kind of goes without saying that. It's kind of rude. Like, this
always.
when my southern jumps out. I'm like, you say yes, ma'am.
You be a proper gentleman. Does always sound like it's being said while you're like reading a newspaper and not listening. You know, like sounds
just-
like I am typing and not paying attention to what you're
I
saying.
don't trust it. It rubs me the wrong way. So yeah, that's my request.
We're anti here.
Cis
Thank
men are not allowed to say to me ever, chill. They can't. And unfortunately, like, I will be irrational about it. Like, it could be any normal situation.
You will not
or
be
high
chill
stakes.
about it.
Like, well, I will, in a chill way, completely cut them out of my life.
That's so chill. Like,
That's so fucking relaxed.
That is the most Sagittarius thing I could say. Like, with a cool head, I will say,
With the clear eyes of John Wayne Gacy, I will cut them out of my
I will say
life.
never again, and we can't talk, and that's my boundary. So yeah, I don't think you've ever told me to chill, which is
No.
why we're still.
I learned that
together.
lesson a long time ago. I tried, as I was, a young, ugly man, I was trying to, like, learn all these different things
That's
that
like when-
people... I was
that's
trying
like
to
when
learn...
Rachel said, like, brings up weight for no reason.
Yeah, for sure.
You just said
I was trying...
ugly for no
to
reason.
learn
I
the-
am not letting you. You are a handsome fellow. Fuck that. Continue.
Okay, I was trying to learn the codes that I would have to use to get by in, like, polite society. I was like, okay, you never tell, a woman to calm down or anything. I was like, that was a lesson that I internalized, like, a long time ago.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Good. I'm no longer a woman, and I still.
But that was the lesson.
And I will still not let.
I extended.
It's still, in whatever gender this is,
Yes.
cis men are not allowed. I don't know how other genders are, I haven't really, like, experienced other genders telling me to chill or calm down.
I think bros tell each other to calm down a lot.
I'm just a really chill person, so people don't say that to me.
no need. You're already there.
I'm already the chillest person in the room. No, it needs to be chill. I tell you to chill.
Yeah. So that's my boundary. What's your texting boundary, Kevin?
I kind of let people do whatever to me, which is a flaw of myself, so I need to, like, maybe work. I need to perhaps set some boundaries.
Interesting.
I need to figure that out.
Text you whatever we damn well please.
Yeah, text you fucking send me whatever as long as you are talking to me, as long as you are sending me something. I'm like, I take these love kernels to reference a future Crazy Ex-Girlfriend song.
So I had a really interesting, and I'm just segueing right back to the episode for no reason.
No, great. Like a co-host of a show would
That's
do.
probably most appropriate.
I had the experience while watching this of being like, I was really thinking about queer shit the first time I watched this and didn't realize it. Like, watching it now and being so openly queer and having similar thoughts, it was just like such a trippy experience to watch this by episode and have so much identification that I know I had the first time I watched it, but had no idea that I was like bi, pan, queer, etc. Like, I did not think that about myself, but I also had a lot of identification with each and everything Daryl was experiencing. And I wonder how I rationalized that away while I was watching it. I think at the time I identified maybe as bi-curious when drunk. Like, I think like that was it. But I do, while watching this episode, was like, whoa, I remember relating to this. Not just I relate to it now, but I remember relating to it then. So wild.
Amazing.
You can really go down the Narnia wardrobe of being in the closet. Like, you can just go all
Closet
the
is
way.
fucking deep.
It is as deep as Narnia sometimes, and you just don't even know.
100%.
Yeah.
And James McAvoy is in there.
Yeah. A hot guy.
Oh yeah, Mr. Tumnus is
Mr.
obviously
fucking
hot.
Tumnus was
Dude, I would fuck Mr. Tumnus.
I'm not gay, but I would like to fuck Mr. Tumnus.
Dude, I would fuck Mr. Tumnus in the gayest way possible.
Dude, no homo, but like I would fuck
Dude,
Mr.
full homo. I would fuck Mr. Tumnus.
What is that called? Not a
furry.
centaur. A furry.
He's a fawn. He's a fawn.
A fawn,
He's a
thank
fawn.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Sagittarius is a centaur, so that really
That's
tracks
true.
for us.
That's
as,
true.
As a group.
I love centaurs. Perhaps they are my
I
because
think
they
a
are my
fawn
sign.
is more my speed.
Yeah, for
Centaurs
sure.
are too.
This is unwieldy. They got a whole horse back there. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot. That's a lot of
Horse
wagon you're
back there.
dragging. Whereas a fawn is much more manageable. Or a satyr, they are sometimes called. You
Yeah.
can call
Well,
them
I
satyr.
like low T guys, so that's like a fawn.
Low testosterone?
Yeah. Like
That checks out.
I think like a centaurs too like
Too male.
too masculine.
Too mask. A goat, however. A goat man.
man
Much
is-
more effective.
Exactly.
So if you're putting livestock with a man, you're far more in the goat world than you are
For
like
sure,
a
for
horse
sure.
world. What about a cow man?
I'm kind. Oh, I love cows, but cows are women. All cows are women.
That's
That's
Doesn't
fair.
matter.
That's fact. That's
Even
just
if they're-
science.
would
Even
be
if
a
they're
bull.
not, they are. They have those long eyelashes.
It would be
Yeah, for
A
sure.
I
bull is
love-
a
A
man.
A bull. What about
cow.
a boy bull? A minotaur man?
Ew.
No.
Absolutely not. Bulls.
Oh, a minotaur.
Minotaur. But it's like the
Yeah.
reverse, you
Yeah.
Oh
know?
my
Reverse.
gosh. Have you ever seen True Blood?
I
A
know
little
about it because my ex really uses my HBO to watch it.
I was going to recommend that for your next podcast. You watch all of
True Blood?
Actually, we
Fuck
could.
yeah, I'd do it. Yeah.
Kevin is on a, well, sort of on a pod with my ex who I introduced, and then they started up their own community.
Now we're
pod
just
together.
friends outside of you.
Yeah, none of us are ex pod. So a lot of us are ex pod. All of us are friends.
Yeah.
Which is just a flex that I'm friends with my ex, but we
Amazing.
should do a True Blood. We should watch it, and because I know that Jace has watched it.
Sounds
Hi,
great.
Jace.
I'm not necessarily committing to watching all of True Blood on mic, but if we wanted to do one special True Blood
Well,
ep
there's
and
a
then see how it
Minotaur in
feels, you know? Just the
Just
tip
what I
of
thought
True
of it.
Blood?
Isn't
Yeah.
it an allegory for AIDS? That's what somebody told me.
I mean, that's one way of interpreting it.
And there's that one chef who screams about an AIDS burger. That's the clip of True Blood that I've seen.
Oh, damn.
Where, like, there's this guy who doesn't want to eat this diner food because the chef is gay. And he comes out and he's like, that's an AIDS burger you're eating.
This is an important question that you can try to relate back to the episode if you want.
Okay, I love a challenge.
I finally figured out what mine would be, so I couldn't ask the question until I knew what mine would be. I think we did talk about this on the beach. What is your, because we're talking about half people, half animal, what is your mermaid power?
Yes.
And what color is your mermaid tail?
Of course. I in the water of Reese Beach, I went very quickly. I defaulted to number one child wish answer. I want to be able to talk to every animal. That is the mermaid superpower that I elected for myself. And for my tail, I don't know. I would like just like a nice, like a salmon pink sort of tail.
Ooh, that's nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, what are some powers that mermaids are offered?
What is the sphere that I'm pulling from
I guess
here?
like think of
like,
like
are we talking time travel?
I guess like yeah, anything that like you could do underwater, so time travel works. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, most of the if we're talking magic powers, like there's no physics, so technically anything on land would go be
Yeah.
fair in water.
Yeah,
That
just like
counts.
think like you're a mermaid. You could be like a mermaid that turns into other things, but like again, like you we're trying to focus on like
Man.
one power, and that would require like kind of two.
If you were on an ensemble mermaid show for children, what would be your
Yeah.
speciality?
Oh
Like
my
if you're
gosh.
Spice Girls, but your mermaid is.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. This is a great question. I've never been asked. I don't know. I mean, maybe it would be time travel. That would be kind of cool. Something about time, I would say.
I would love to
also-
see mermaids through time and what mermaid eras look like. What was the 70s like for mermaids?
I mean, my other answer would be similarly like to live for a very long time. I don't know about immortal, but like maybe close to.
Or just
you
as
know?
long as you want.
As long as I want. Yeah, I have to like decide. My life will end in suicide. Like it's already like predetermined. But like it's up to me when, you know. I don't know, maybe centuries.
Maybe that's dark, and maybe it's just like how maybe my family, I don't know what it is, but like my mom doesn't want dementia and doesn't want to like not remember. She's requested, and she's not even 60, but she's requested that once she starts losing her faculties in her mind, she wants us to throw her from a high place. She wants us to euthanize her.
Your mom is like, where are my keys? And you're like, all right, Mom, here fuck we go. All right, time to take you out to
that.
pasture.
I'm like, at what point will...
What is the line?
What is the point?
Where is the rock?
What is... And she's like, you'll know. And I'm like, no, you'll know. Like, I'm not just going to kill you until, like, we know. I'm not going to kill you ever, FBI agent, the hot one.
The hot one.
I think I could sub in a hot FBI agent for the lawyer fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hers was like living as long as she wants.
I said, like...
That's great.
I would love... or a time travel. Something about seeing large, spans of time.
I
think that would be very interesting to me. The color of my tail, though, black. Because all I wear is black.
Of
So
course.
cool. It's so
That's-
New York.
That'd be fucking rad.
It's in New York. Would your mermaid also be in New York?
A mermaid in New York. Would you want to live as long?
Swim with the dead bodies in the trash. I mean, yeah, that's rad. Like, why not?
Yeah,
Like,
fuck
that's
yeah.
tough.
No. New York, excuse me, this is a screenplay, New York Mermaid. We could sell this.
Wait, that sounds really good.
That sounds good. TM.
Yeah, we actually did trademark this right after the end of the podcast, so like you can't.
So like you can't write New York Mermaid and sell it to Disney Plus like we're going to.
Okay, you guys haven't asked me yet, but just so we can get back to the episode.
It was implied.
My mermaid tail is obviously like just like an oscillating rainbow, iridescent. Yeah.
I would expect nothing else.
Yeah, it's like rainbow, but it like keeps changing. And my friend came up with a really good one, which was basically having the aux cord of the ocean, like just being able to play. Like being able to
like
play
one of those
music.
pools with speakers under the water.
Yeah,
for
but
the
like
whole
ocean. And I thought that one was sick and really funny. And then my other one would be like, because that is my friends that like they kind of called, and then but you don't get dibs
They
on
didn't
powers.
trademark it.
Yeah. The other one would be like kind of Sims style. Like I want to be like the city. I want to have like city planner vibes of the sea. I want to be able to like snap and have just like build like eco-friendly buildings and systems and like portals and
coral
things.
houses.
And yeah, I just want to. Yeah, I want to get really interior deco about the sea.
About the very sea.
That would be my power.
Elegant, well-designed sea.
I don't really need to talk to animals. I mean, I could, but I don't really know what we would talk about. I think I have too much social anxiety.
Just talk to an animal. What do I have to say to a horse? Would a horse like me?
Why is a horse in the sea? A seahorse?
Horses can be near the sea, and I'm popping out, and I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that you were going to interact with, like, land animals. Too.
No,
That's so
for
cute.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
so cute. Would you beckon them with, like, a little, like, sonic boom, and then, like...
Oh, I'm a siren in this scenario.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
for
very
sure,
cool.
for sure. Absolutely. Well, we're talking about group dynamics. The group hang song at the beginning of this episode. It's a banger.
You sing this song a lot.
I do.
Hang.
It's a group hang, a group hang.
Oh,
So
this
far
made me
away.
anxious,
The fucking
too.
Shakira song and like the politics of nachos and who's paying for what drink.
Yeah, as someone who's...
Featuring Harvey Guillaume from
Correct.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah,
I farted.
someone who's currently very broke right now, this episode made me really, really anxious because I was like, I actually couldn't pay that bill. Like,
When she gets the $1,000
I don't
Mexican
have
food
that
bill.
much on my debit card, so no one robbed me because I really don't have that much.
Not worth it.
So that made me anxious. I forgot about that. But that was the song is really catchy.
Yeah. And I like many good Crazy Ex-Girlfriend songs, it has like a sub-joke within the joke, because there's the joke about like the whole group hang thing that we're doing in the Shakira style, and then there's the continuing joke about like the bizarre food offered by the restaurant that they're at. This cheesy tortilla soup thing, you know, it's just like it keeps that thread going throughout the song as well, and I think that's good.
Yeah, it's that I don't really resonate with, well, I guess sometimes, but like I would say it's like 50-50 with Rachel, of like songs. Hello, welcome to Queens. I would say it's like 50-50 with Rachel in terms of like doing like a really specific like line or throwaway line or bit, like a long bit through a song. I feel like it's 50-50 for me if I like it or find it annoying and don't think about it.
I mean, sometimes it just don't work.
Yeah.
But you gotta take that chance. Because then you have like the great running joke in the Dream Ghosts song about the insurance policy of the Dream Ghosts. You can't have that if you don't try.
Yeah.
Simply can't.
What else happened in this episode?
That was essentially it. They discover the water situation.
How did you feel about Daryl? How did both of you feel about Daryl's sexual awakening in this show? This was a big deal for queer stuff.
I felt like bisexuality at this point was still like, I mean, obviously it was a thing that people knew existed, but it does feel like, if not because of this show, because this wasn't a very like popular show when it was on, but like at this time people were like, bisexuality, what is this? So you can be gay and not gay at the same time? And that felt new to a lot of people, at least to the culture of Missouri where I was when this episode was coming out. And we haven't even gotten to the song about him being bi, which won't happen for another 2 episodes. Can you believe it?
Oh, that is coming. I didn't realize it was season 1.
Yeah, season 1, but it just has not happened yet. It's good. I like it. I always forget how slow it is. The now 2 times I've rewatched this show, like, I forget that it is the longest roll out in TV sexuality since season 2 of Harley Quinn. It just takes like a really long time for this to go, and it kind of feels like they have to do that because people were still not super familiar with bisexuality, at least from my eyes. I don't know.
I like to watch him struggling with it and be confused, and then kind of be like, oh no, that's not what it is, and then have like other things of like, maybe that is what it is. No, that's not what it is. Like, I feel like you do have to like have a bunch. I know for me, there was this particular game of, hi Carabai, who probably doesn't listen to the pod, but she was a very attractive dancer in a production of Spring Awakening at USC.
Talk about an awakening.
Right, and I was pretty certain I had a crush on her, but was like, I'm in college and this is a girl crush, and like I haven't had a crush on a girl before, and blah, blah, and I have a boyfriend. And so we played Spin the Bottle, and we spun each other like twice, which means that we had to like super make out, and we were really drunk and it was really mushy. So I thought because of that moment that I wasn't gay, because my one chance to make out with my one crush, it was like not fireworks, and so then I just suppressed it for
You
years.
just had no game.
We both didn't.
She's a bad way.
We both didn't have game, and like if that had gone differently, I think a couple years of my life would have looked a lot different.
Would have been very different.
Yeah.
2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. And what I like about this Daryl storyline, I like a coming out story for a fully grown person. I understand why so many of the coming out stories in media are about like teens and young people. But I appreciate that this is like a man in his mid-40s realizing something about
we need
himself.
less like Born This Way gays who are like, I knew ever since I was whatever.
And I'm like, that's great for you, and I'm glad the world has progressed in such a way that like allows you to do that. But also like, for a lot of people, it doesn't happen until well into adulthood, and I like that angle on Daryl's story, is that he's like, he was married to a woman, he had a kid, he didn't know any of this.
How do you feel like watching this episode when the first time when you thought you were straight and the now time when you knew that you're out as bi?
I do think that this was something, I will not like attribute it solely,
Daryl
as
didn't
like
solely make you bi.
Yes, but he's pretty cute. But it was definitely an important like thing to see along the way. to where we were going. I wouldn't call it like a radically different lens, but it is something. I reference this song all the time. I sing it to myself all the time. I put it in my Instagram story all the time. It's just like, it is a piece that I love and I cite often.
To your point of like liking that he's a older, like, grown man, I think the show is really great in that it like shows these characters that would often be like not the stars of a television show, and like people who often are not seen on TV, like, you know, Paula's like this middle-aged woman in this like half-dead marriage, you know,
and she's not a size 0,
not
like
a size
perfect
0.
10. Yeah.
And same with even Rebecca, like she doesn't have the ingenue look or body, you know, curvy Jewish gal.
Right.
And I actually have a funny, but when we end the episode, I have a funny like anecdote about curvy Rachel
bookmark
Bloom. Okay.
curvy in my head.
And so, and then, yeah, like Daryl too, like this like older kind of middle-aged man still having like a sexual story or romantic story. And I think like that's part of the genius of the show, is just like showing these people that a show wouldn't often focus on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was thinking I recently had a like very strange experience seeing Lena Dunham's new movie. A very positively strange experience.
Sharp Stick?
Sharp Stick.
There's a new Lena Dunham.
Just dropped.
Just dropped.
New Lena just dropped.
New feature. But she talks about, like, I saw it with a Q&A, and she was talking about how, like, with girls, her focus was so much on just, like, showing people and bodies that weren't normally shown on television. And then her new movie, she's, like, more focused on, like, how she's showing them and whatever. This isn't a podcast about Lena Dunham, but so
I will never start one of them.
I won't get too into it, but you know,
Sitting
I
on
think
regular-sized furniture, thank you.
I mean, even a show like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I do think is like weirdly indebted to the legacy of girls and Lena Dunham. Like, I think it's like that was such a turning point in like how a young woman could present herself on television. And it was, like, super successful. And I do think, like, you know, this is part of that history.
I mean, previous shows about, like, working women working in office environments, they look like Mary Tyler Moore or Ally McBeal.
Yeah.
And they don't often look like Rachel Bloom. Or people that look like Paula are not often, like, the second lead on a show like
Absolutely
this,
not.
with storylines all to herself and interiority. She's a one-off joke throwing out sort of character. Like, there's multiple people on The Office you could point at and be like, this is what Paula would be on
like
any
Angela
other show.
or Phyllis.
Or Phyllis, or the redhead one, Meredith. It's been a very long time
Even
since
The
I've seen
Office
The Office.
is an American version of a British show,
Yes.
and the comedy of the original Office is like so much in the awkwardness of these characters, you know, like it's purposely like they're not ingenues. That is the point of the show. Like they have to be bland and ugly. That's like the joke.
But the women at the center of the U.S. Office, the ones that like get their own storylines, are Jenna
Pam.
Fisher and Rashida Jones and Ellie Kemper. You know?
Yeah, all these kind of more traditionally attractive women,
For sure.
according to our standards.
According to our standards.
But yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, and even when I remember watching, like, the pilot episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, that really, like, blew my mind, just seeing, like, Rachel Bloom, seeing her body, honestly. And she actually is pretty skinny in the first season compared to where she's at later on.
For sure.
And it did, like, have an impact on me. I'll just tell the curvy story now, because now
Let's
it is
just do it. We're on
relevant. It is relevant. So I had a truly life-changing bra shopping experience recently.
So you post about this.
Because it truly changed my life. Like, so bra shopping is, like, traumatizing to me. I hate it. It's, like, it makes me hate my body, hate myself. For those of you who can't see me right now and are listening in and can't see the size of my breasts, I suppose
We'll
there's
post
some
pictures to
I
go
suppose
over
there's
the
some
episode.
they're like, how small are these things? They think they're, like, so tiny. No, it's the opposite. They're huge. So I
Same.
So, like,
Good joke.
Yeah,
But-
that's like deep lore for our listeners who
For the
like,
real
for the
fans.
real
our listeners
fans.
who like know I got top surgery.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. For the real fans.
But yeah, so I like bra shopping, very difficult thing, hate it, very hard to, like, the size I thought I was a 32 triple D. That's what Victoria's Secret has told me I am, but I've realized that that's just like the biggest cup size that most stores have.
Yeah.
And so I went to the store in New York that's like, it's called Bravissimo. Sponsor the episode, by the way.
Shout out Bravissimo. Use promo
but-
code.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing if they sponsored it? But yeah.
Let's
they
fucking
have,
go
like,
at Bravissimo.
the whole point of the store is that they like are D and up cups, and so but all different band sizes for everyone, whatever, but D and up. And it was truly life-changing because I was like, oh, this is the first like time I'm going bra shopping where they're not like, all right, just give her the biggest size you got, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, exactly. And they actually like sized me, and like it truly changed my like idea of like what a bra could be and how it could fit. So I went to follow them on Instagram, and guess who of my followers was already following them? Rachel Bloom.
Of course.
And I was like, I don't know, it was just amazing because like she is a body who it was like refreshing to see on television for me personally, and so she did get a breast reduction
Post show,
but she also had kids, and then her boobs got really big. So
For
and
sure.
also if I had the money, these things would be gone.
Chop 'em
Like
off.
no shame, they would be out of here.
She goes
But,
into it in her book, like the process behind that decision, and she's like, yeah, I just got like unmanageable.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, that's great. Like, I would do it if I could. Maybe one day I will. But you know, seeing that, even just seeing like that she went to the store, I was like, that's amazing. Like, this person I love and watch on TV is wearing the same freaking bras as me. You know,
Representation.
we're all drinking the
matters.
same Coke.
she does
Shout out
reference-
Andy Warhol.
She does reference her boobies in this episode and many other
And
episodes.
frequently.
Heavy-
where
heavy
people think
boobs,
they're
that's a
fake.
good
Heavy
one.
boobs is a great number.
Yeah.
That people
Oh.
think they're fake.
But I will add, I looked up because I was curious after my Bravissimo experience what the average bra size is in the United States.
Hello.
Because I was like, I'm curious. And guess what it is?
Hi.
A 34 double D.
Whoa.
Which is already considered in a lot of stores extended sizing. Like that's already
Wow.
outside the
That's
natural
the
range.
average.
So like Bravissimo, this like specialty store, that's the average size of most, you know, the average size for women in the United States, or, you know, people who wear bras in the United States, is a 34 double D. And so they could shop at Bravissimo, which is like the specialty
Shout out
store.
Bravissimo.
But anyway, I just think that's crazy. Even like the average women's size is considered plus size in the United States. So our whole concept of this is really like
It's
skewed.
fucked.
Yeah.
Have you used Savage X Fenty by Rihanna?
I have it.
Recent billionaire Rihanna.
Awful.
Unfortunately I do. I'm a monthly subscriber, but I do skip often, many months.
Many
but
things.
when I'm less single, I will treat myself to like a sexy harness but they're like super size inclusive, and like Lizzo's in the show that replaced the Victoria's Secret show is a Savage X Fenty show that's on jeffreybezos.com, Amazon Prime.
That's the website. I'm typing that into my browser.
.org. But something worth watching are, I think, the 3 shows of Rihanna's Savage X Fenty fashion show. And that it's size inclusive and also gender inclusive, by that meaning like multiple genders, not just 2. And it's hot. Yeah. It's a good watch, that. But also you don't need to give Rihanna your money, but that's another place. Savage X Fenty.
Our other
And
sponsor.
I am available to be a Savage X Fenty ambassador should anyone be listening. Thank you.
Listen, this is good tips for our listeners out there. And I think this was a show that with a predominantly female and perhaps non-binary audience, you know what I mean? So this is good information for everyone to have. I'm glad we shared this. That about wraps it up. This is our longest episode ever, and I'm not mad about it. I had a great time sitting here on the floor talking about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Now's a little time where we can throw out a little something called plugs. So, guest, you are allowed to go first. Halley, anything out there that you want to plug? Yourself, your work or not.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the spot right now. I mean, I get.
Follow your
Do I wanna
letterbox.
do I want to plug my socials? I don't know. I don't know if I like.
You can
my
always change your
anonymity.
mind later, and I can cut it out.
I
Yeah.
literally have no concept of how many listeners we have, and it could be 0, and it could be just like a handful, and it could be a lot. So I don't.
I've decided for this show, I'm not looking at the data.
Sure. Okay. Well, you can follow me on Letterboxd at Seltzer, and you can follow me on Instagram at I_love_carbonated_water. And you can follow me on Be Real at, I think it's just carbonated_water, username Seltzer.
I love this.
There's a theme.
Yeah.
This is a uniting
Anything
principle.
about carbonated, just at LaCroix.com. At LaCroix.com. That's how websites work.
Love and Waters and Bubbles.
Yeah. I will say, here's my thing about carbonated water. I just want to go on my spiel about it really quick. As a Jewish person raised by New Yorkers, seltzer has always been part of my life, you know?
Yeah.
Seltzer,
How's New York seltzer?
before I was drinking breast milk, I was drinking...
Out the womb.
Yeah, I was drinking out the soda stream. That's my teat, okay? And created by the glorious state of Israel. And so, yeah, I have always been a seltzer fan. But I do think seltzer has this kind of newfound trendiness to it. I think it's because, like, we're living in a post-soda society, you know?
Yeah.
People understand soda's like poison now, and so
we finally
like,
fucking bridged that gap.
it's like people who started smoking cigarettes like in the 50s. It's like you can't fault these guys, you know?
But
it's
people
like,
who smoke
it
it now, it's like, we
know
have
it's
the
bad,
info.
but it still happens. Soda's
Yeah,
the same
for sure.
way. It's like if you like grew up like drinking soda, it is what it is, going back decades. But it's like if you're picking up that habit now, it's like you're guzzling poison, you know? So it's like, again, you know, not that we all have that death drive. No shade. If you drink soda, or smoke,
Live
I'm
your
happy.
life,
I'm
yeah.
talking to our listeners. Like, I love that about humans. I love that we want to destroy ourselves. Genuinely, I do. I'm not even being sarcastic. Anyway, so, but, like, I do think seltzer has filled this gap of, like, we all need this little treat, but we don't want to, like, do anything too harmful. So now, like, seltzer. But for me, that's not what seltzer is about. That's not what seltzer represents. So I just want to make it clear that I'm not a fake fan. That I liked seltzer before it was cool. And hummus too. I think hummus has had a similar...
It did. I feel like maybe hummus's like spotlight was almost usurped by seltzer.
Yeah.
I think hummus is a little less trendy now than it once was.
For sure. But those are things you can kind of get anywhere now, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And it's not unusual.
Sriracha had it. Sriracha was for
Yeah.
a while a big trend.
Absolutely. But
I
yeah.
still hold out. I'm still there, holding down the fort.
Yeah, so anyway, those are my plugs. Hummus, seltzer,
Various
Israel.
social
I'm just
medias.
kidding. There was a good... Oh, no, that's actually in the episode after the ones we watched. I watched one more because I wanted to, like, finish the arc of the
You want to see where
case.
this water thing was going?
Exactly.
And you saw Audra Levine.
I did, and there is a really funny moment where they're like...
Though, of course, I support Israel.
Which I love because, like, I love the I mean, it's not that biting of a critique. It should be, I hope all of our listeners support BDS. I'm just kidding. This is how I don't get into the country.
You're in the fucking
like,
IDF.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you said
So-
that you would gracefully handle being canceled.
Absolutely. 100%.
This episode is also
I
not coming out
welcome
until
it.
early next month.
I
so,
welcome
like,
it with open arms. But there's a great line where they're like, oh yeah, we're liberal, we're progressive, but of course we support Israel. And I'm like, I'm glad they're correctly aligning Israel as like a right-wing
Yes.
state and like or Zionism as like an ethno-nationalist right-wing project. Like, not that they went that far, but that's the undercurrent of what they're
That
saying.
is definitely like
So,
the joke, right?
yeah.
In that anyway, we'll
So
get
I
into
like
it.
that little moment. But yeah, that's for next episode. That's a teaser. You should use this as the little like end of the episode. So like listen
Oh.
next week. For...
Hey, so you get to hear about the. I'm not gonna say the name of that song out loud. It is like a slur.
Oh wait, what is it?
It's
Show
Jap
me.
battle. But Jap stands for Jewish American
Oh,
Princess.
that's not a slur.
Not for Jewish people. For a different group.
Oh, but it's not. That's not what it's saying.
I know, but I don't like saying it out loud.
Fair enough.
You
Fair
know,
enough.
Perhaps call me a coward.
Coward.
Fair enough.
Say more slurs. Say more slurs.
I've already come out as biphobic. I've done my duty. Kat, any plugs?
Sure. I think my letterboxd is just Kat Scott, Katscott.
Check out those lists.
I'm making a list right now of 52 films for 52 weeks of the year, and in the description it explains like which week of each month each film should be watched. And it's a project I did in college and forgot about and thought would be fun to do again for no reason, just for fun. I'm looking for things for no reason, just for fun. I'm sometimes on Instagram.com, and when I am, you can find me at Kat Scott Online. That's my handle.
Ask your parents before logging on.
Truly, though. And there isn't really much else worth. I mean, this is my thing. Doing this with you is the main thing going on. I'm writing a TV show about when I was in a debutante cult. So if you are a writer for any streaming services, let me know. I got a pilot. It's in its first draft.
Premium cable. Hit me up.
I was in a debutante cult that Ellie Kemper was in. Let's talk about it.
Let's get Ellie on the show. Not this podcast, on that show. Or on this podcast. Maybe she likes this show.
That would be so spicy.
Right?
She would have to do like a redemption arc.
But it's
probably
like
season 2.
Because when you use a star like that, the audience is already bringing their meta perception of them to the piece. And why not lean into that?
Yeah,
Why
I mean,
not fully
SNL does that a lot.
SNL does that a lot. But even when the world realized that Tom Cruise was fucking insane, he just makes movies about being insane now.
Yeah,
and it has worked very well for him.
They do that in succession of being self-meta referential. There's a whole plot. Have you watched Succession?
I've watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then there's been too much TV lately, and I haven't had time to finish the 3rd season.
There sure is a lot of TV, which is why I want to saturate it with more.
And who will get the kiss from Daddy? I will say, since we're plugging Letterboxd, I'm TV's Kevin or TV's Kevin Lanigan on Letterboxd. You can follow me. I'm on a Peter Bogdanovich kick right now, though that'll largely be done by the time you're hearing this episode. So you got to scroll back through and see all my thoughts on those great films. TV's Kevin Lanigan on the social media. Advanced Media Studies is the other podcast where we are reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books. And you can also hear an episode where Kat is recovering from top surgery, talking about Community.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So you can dive through the archives and find that.
Is that the gay one?
No. Earlier than that.
Oh, okay.
I think it was in season 3 of Community. If I remember correctly, it did all happen during quarantine. So, some scant details are fuzzy here and there.
Yeah.
So you can find all that. I just completed a feature film script. We're going to be making that in the next year and a half. So be on the lookout for that.
Same streaming services.
Of course, please
we
hit
can
me
be
up.
like a dual
I love
deal. We
trying
can
to be an independent filmmaker, and you're like, okay, so the height of what I can achieve is selling it to some streaming service where they will anonymously dump it without fanfare. I love being a young filmmaker. It's really great. So yeah, see that. And you know what? If you want to support me flying out to Salt Lake City and making projects with my old comedy troupe, you can do that at patreon.com/tvskevin for as little as $1 a month, where you also get episodes of this very podcast 1 full week early in their entirety. And backlogs of several shows that I used to do as well. And we will be back in October. Spooky to complete this water trial business. And finally get a little bit of resolution on this Daryl sexuality coming out plotline. I'm excited. We're excited to hear it. We're excited to see it. I don't think we have a general sign-off to this show. So I'll just say, I'm a London boy, I joined.
That was beautiful. And I'm not going to project into a future this time about what my dating life looks like. I've done that on a few pods, and I've been wrong each time. So just wherever you are, September Cat, you're doing great. And
Delilah. Call in. Tell me what's up. Is Delilah still on the air? We gotta look this up.
I hope so.
Well, Rebecca, you've done it now.
Yeah, you guys know this one.
Karma's come to tap you on the shoulder. All that lying that's been festering, plus breaking and entering, is coming now to crush you like a boulder. You ruined everything, you stupid bitch. You ruined everything, you stupid, stupid bitch. You're just a lying little bitch who ruins things and wants the world to burn. Bitch, you're a stupid bitch. And lose some weight.
Okay, new story. So the most New York thing just happened to me. I was in Nope, the new Jordan Peele movie, and it was during like a really spooky like jump scare part, and a fucking dog just appeared out of nowhere. And at first I was like, oh, cute, like he's off leash, like he'll be like taken in a second. And then like 5 minutes passed and he had been reacting to the movie, and then he like kept, I was like, I'll just hang on to him, and he just like sat in my lap, and then I like lifted him up to demonstrate like, hey, I have a dog and this is a movie theater, where did this dog come from? And no one grabbed him, and so then I was like, oh shit. So I hung out with him for a second, plus the movie was getting like really scary. And so then I pick him up and I carry him out, and I go, is this anybody's dog? And nobody says anything. And I'm like, okay. And then I walk and I come up the stairs and I'm like, hi, there's a loose dog. And they're like, what? And I was like, there's a loose dog. And someone was like, okay, let me get the manager. And he was like, what's up? And I was like, there's a loose dog. This is someone's dog. And then someone was like, oh, we saw a couple walk in with it. And I was like, do you know which movie they went into? And she's like, no. And then I was like, okay. So then we walked into like the next door theater, and we were like, is this anybody's dog? And nobody said anything. So then we were like, well, we can't keep interrupting movies with this dog. And he was really cute, and I was like, I hope I can keep him. But I didn't think that was possible. So then the manager just kept staring at me like, this has never fucking happened before. This has never happened. He's like, oh my God. And he's like, I'm allergic to dogs, otherwise I would help. And I'm like, that's okay, I'll hold him. So then then we like walked like up and down the escalators, and just like, we're like, what do we do? And then we found an office, and he ran out of it. So then we found a smaller office and kept him in there, and he was barking. And then we opened some of the movie theater doors so that like the movies could hear the dog barking, and maybe they'd be like, oh, my dog's loose. So then we kept the dog in like a little office, and I did get a free pass for the movie. And then I went back and watched the last 30 minutes, which was good. But yeah, and then as I came out at the end, I was like, what happened? People who worked there were like, we don't know. And I was like, is the dog still there? And they were like, I think he's still in the office. And then I just ran into a pole. So then the escalator brought up the dog, who was reharnessed, with this middle-aged woman who was like, sorry, he got out of his harness, which like he totally didn't. It was like a full body harness. And we were like, okay, glad you got him. And then the manager had to like open the door to get me a free pass, and I like hung out with the people who worked there, and I was like, I used to work in a movie theater. And they're like, where? And I was like, oh, in Missouri. And no, it wasn't AMC, it was like an art house theater. They're like, oh, cool. And I got my free pass, and the mystery was not solved because we don't know which theater she came from and how she found the dog. I guess someone downstairs like let her in, but the manager still didn't know yet. But yeah, so got to hang out with the dog. Saw most of the movie Nope. The mid 20 minutes like weren't that engaging anyway. It was like the second act to third act. So yeah, I'm gonna walk into this Petco so I can relive that dog moment, because I don't have anything else to do this afternoon. All right, that's my story. I got a free pass, so if anyone wants to see a movie, let me know.
I was so close to paradise, but now the only thing I'm close to is defeat. These shards are a metaphor for my soul. Won't stop the self-pity 'cause I'm on a roll. Yes, Josh completes me, but how can that be when there's no me left to complete? You ruined everything, you stupid bitch. Sing with me. You ruined everything, you stupid, stupid bitch. Yes, I deserve this. You're just a poopy little slut who doesn't think and deceives the people she loves. Now he knows I'm not some innocent lamb. He sees me for what I am, which is a horrible, stupid dog that's ugly, bad, and stupid, simple, self-hating.
This has been a Talkback Podcast.